Hi guys, Zareth here with Zareth Gaming. Just want to make a small video and sort of weigh in on the Transcendence feature that's come up. So they've announced a bit more information about the new Transcendence on characters, which is their way of answering the dupes that people are getting, and unfortunately there's quite a lot of ways of getting dupes these days. So we'll sort of have a quick look and see through. So Transcendence, for every level that your character's special goes up, you'll be able to unlock an additional stat slot, which can boost one of your stats once. So slot 1, say for instance, looking at Bugetsu Ichigo, you get that first slot because he's 1 out of 5, and the first one you're probably going to put Spiritual Pressure and give him a boost on his Spiritual Pressure, in which case, make him hit a bit harder. You could do attack or stamina if you really want to. Generally, I'd say probably go for Spiritual Pressure on that. And with each one, you can have an additional one. So if you get him 2 out of 5, you'll probably be able to increase maybe his attack if you wanted to do, or stamina if you wanted to do that as a secondary. And the last one gives you a random one, which is not ideal. We'll see how any sort of re-rolling goes on that, because you probably want a second Spiritual Pressure increase. Just depends how hard it is to roll. If there's anything like accessories, you may end up re-rolling quite a few times. So, that's generally how it works. They said you need to unlock it with Transcendence Scroll, Hogyos, Hogyo Wheels and coins. It's their answer to boosting up the number of coins being used. So you can see on there, to get stamina level 7, you need 4 million coins to boost it up, which is sort of quite incredible. It's quite an incredible way of the amount of boost on there. So looking at what we can see, you unlock it, it's level 1. You can see there's roughly enough scrolls to go up to bits and pieces to get it up to level 7. So with plus 6 levels, it goes up 650 HP. I'm not sure if that's percentage based or it's going to be a set amount on what the stats will be. But it seems like it's going to give them a big boost if you get your stamina to level 7 on the Transcendence, then, that's 650 stamina, adding about 60 odd percent onto the stamina, which, if you can do the same for attack, especially on that Ichigo, the mind one, it's going to be hitting like a truck on auto. Or even the normal, I do have that Ichigo and I run in with attack links. So I got 2 25 NAD links and a 20 NAD link, and it just hits like crazy already, like 13,000 damage. I think if he has an extra 600 attack on that, he'd be hitting into the sort of 20,000 damages with a single hit. But sort of looking at the sort of things in a bit more depth, on the face of it, it looks really good. You are going to have stat boost and your character's going to be a lot stronger as a result. PvE generally going to boost your Spiritual Pressure. I guess PvP, not a lot of people do it. I do it just for the daily orders. I'm still under 10,000, so every time I hit 1,000 I do get 100 orbs. To me that's worth grinding out PvP as well. And then of course keeping in third seed just so I can do extreme co-op. It's on this week, I've been sort of in and out with that as well. But generally PvP is not really that interested unless they overhaul it. They did the player questionnaire and they asked about PvP, what would you like to see to improve it. A few different things, I can't remember all of them. The one I do remember is if you can control your main character, control one character, which I don't think would really be fun, especially because PvP is automatic, so you're not versing an opponent live. You're just sort of facing their team directly. So we'll see what happens, but if PvP doesn't change, Transcendence is going to affect PvP in a big way. I'll just quickly brush over PvE. So PvE, you're only going to benefit. So if you have, this Bugetsu Ichigo, you boost his Spiritual Pressure, you're just going to clear content quicker. Epic raids will be done faster if he's, of course, ever a bonus character. Just general raids, Inheritance Zone, even Extreme Co-op, for instance, will be cleared much, much quicker because he does have those stat boosts. And if you have him 5 out of 5, well, you're going to have his Spiritual Pressure, stamina, attack, defense, focus all up. So he's just going to be incredibly strong. Same with any character, really. So PvE is going to be a huge benefit for it. PvP, on the other hand, it sort of goes in the other way. So with PvP, you're going to end up with your team's not going to be good unless you are either 2 out of 5 or possibly 4 out of 5, depending on what your team is. So the high team at the moment, and I guess the team that people are saying is the top team, is Noitora, Chad and Kenny. There are variations. Some people still run Retsu. You've got Belief Toshiro as well. You've got the 4 Hollow Ichigo. So I do see several different teams, but generally Kenny, Noitora, Chad are the top 3. So with those characters, their special is going to be 1 out of 5 initially. So you're going to boost either their attack or stamina. It depends on really what you want to do, or what sort of other players' analysis are of increasing one or the other stats. Ideally, you want them to be 2 out of 5 because then you can just get attack and stamina. But the problem then is if you go against a team that's all 4 out of 5, you're probably going to be at a disadvantage. And if they're running the same 3 characters, they're going to probably boost defense and focus, which means it does give them a slight advantage. And that advantage is that they've been lucky enough to pull those additional characters. So with Noitora, I only pulled 1. Out of the ban who came in initially at the end of June, I only pulled him once. He was the last one out of the 3 I pulled. I ended up getting 2 Zamaris, 1 Yami and 1 Noitora, so I did clear the whole banner. I think it was like 3k orbs or something like that. But I only got the 1 Noitora. Someone may have pulled 3 Noitoras, in which case he's better then, or she's better then, because that character is going to have more available slots. So it says that they were either lucky to get him or spent more orbs to get him. Oh, get more copies of him. And then the problem is that because everyone does have the same chance of pulling each character, it does mean they probably spent more to get those characters, or were just lucky in the first instance. But it gives an unfair advantage, because those characters will be stronger because they've spent more orbs, they've got more of those characters. Again, you could be incredibly lucky. You could have a 5 out of 5 Kenny just because he was in step-ups for the anniversary, or they just keep pulling in from tickets. It could just simply come down to that. But I don't know. It just seems that they want you to pull these characters just to make your current character stronger, and it's just not. It's not ideal. Because it's forcing people then to summon. And sort of Caleb's thinking, and Caleb's thinking on it is similar to what all these banners that we've had. So you look at the summons we've had, we've got this summer party summons. Oh, let's go back to that one there. 5% chance just for a repeat seasonal, which they've never done. That's always been 3%. Sometimes with droplets that come with it as well. Sometimes they do that. Can't remember if they do that for seasonals all the time. They do it with reruns of Count for Your Own World and Thousand Year Blood War as well. But they've never really done that before. And then they had a mid-month double chance on premium characters when you look at the Pride banner. Now, I can't remember the last time they had a premium mid-month double chance banner. They've had it before with seasonal, so White Day comes out mid-March. They had those characters on double chance, but they were seasonal characters. But these are premium characters. Normally mid-month is just a regular 3% premium banner, but they've done it as double chance. And just the number of 5-star banners they've had coming out. If we look back, we had another one at the start of this month. Just trying to have a look. Senkaimo Selection Tower of Reveals, that was a 4% banner with Ruruka, Aizen, can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. In any case, it was a 4% banner. Who else did they have? Oh, the movie characters as well. So that was a 5% banner to get, these characters, which granted, most of them are quite good. But they're doing all these 5% banners, and it's like they're pushing people to get to summon for all these characters and possibly get dupes. But when they do these 5% banners, you think, yeah, it's really good, you can get the characters that you want, but then they chuck in 6 fillers, and you look at it, then it's actually less of a chance to get the character you want, more than if it was a 3% rerun. So if it's a 3% rerun, you'd have 6 characters on a 3%. This gives you 9 characters on a 5%. So, if you're 0 out of 9, then great. You've got a very good chance of pulling a new character. But if you're looking for a specific one, so for instance, myself, I need Lupi and Yoruichi. But the chances of me getting either of those is a lot smaller, because it's 2 out of 9 on 5%. So I've got, it's about 1% to pull one of those characters. It's just such small odds. And then the likelihood is I'll pull a dupe and then just use Transcendence. But what I don't want KLab to do is to use Transcendence as a way to get people to want to get dupes, because there's no benefit really of pulling dupes. You don't get any orbs back, and you just make the characters stronger. But it depends which characters. So for instance, on there you could get Hiyori, the tech version. Well, okay, the tech Soul Reaper version before she was visored. She's not really usable. She may have been before, but she's just an old character. You could use Lisa, she's still good at guild quests, and some of the others are still pretty good as well, but it's just, I don't want them to go down the route of forcing people to want to have dupes. And oh man, I don't know, I'm just not wholly keen on the direction they're taking with it. I'd prefer if you could just fodder any character into one character special. So say for instance, you have a look at the Transcendence function, and instead of having his special up, you can sacrifice 5 heart characters, any heart characters, and use it as a soul token sort of thing. And then you can get rid of heart characters you don't really want or are a bit too old, or just heart in general. Like, if I pull Kaname, I can use that Kaname then to power up Tag Team Renji, for instance. And then it's not limited to what characters you do have to keep pulling. To me, that sounds a bit more flexible. But, they're going down this dupe route, which, again, it's going to have a big effect in PvP. PvE, I guess maybe epic raids, it's not going to affect it. The only way it's going to is if the host only wants people that has a Transcendence level of a certain one. So they'll say, you can only have a transcended character on one level, or you can say, I only want fully transcended characters to clear the content faster. In which case then, that's not down to KLab, it is down to the players. But, it could create this sort of more toxic environment. Like some people, going back a year, they'd say to clear IZ, they only want characters who are 10-10-10 or like link slotted to prove how powerful they are. So it could just be that sort of thing again. But just to sort of TLDR the whole thing, my main concern is the focus on dupes and the fact that KLab want people to pull dupes. So you can pull up characters, and the amount of increased chance banners that they're bringing out with so many fillers as well. And I've watched a few people on YouTube pulling for these characters, and the number of Kenseis I've seen being pulled, and Ishins as well. The number of dupes that people are getting are on the up, and it's harder to get the featured characters in each banner, which is why people are summoning in the first place. And I think KLab are sort of tapping into that area and thinking, well, people want to pull his Gap banner. They like this new Byakuya, and Koga is a great mind hollow killer. And they're sort of tapping into that area, but it's not, I know, to me it's not right. And it's just sort of going back on what KLab and what Bleach Brave Souls was, going back all that time. So I don't really know, but as I said, PvE is going to benefit immensely. PvP is going to be so much, so much harder. It's still going to come down to whether you get the weakening effect or paralysis from Kenya no Itora. Again, there are other characters, but just focusing on those 3 initially on there. It does depend on that and the Soul Bomb as well, but to me it's still, it's just not the function I was hoping for. I'd have preferred like something like put in 3 characters of a certain attribute, so put in 3 power characters, and you get a random power character generated, and then you could get a potential new character or something a bit more useful. So for instance, on a banner, if you do go for the summer vacation, end up with 3 Hioris, you put those Hioris in and get a random tech character at the end. Something like that would just provide a bit more, maybe a bit more randomness, I suppose, and maybe not to everyone's taste, but that's just how I prefer it. We can just have that reroll function, but I'm not too sure. I mean, we'll see how it goes, and they may make changes. This is just speculation, so they may change some parts of Transcendence before they release it. But as I said, PvP is going to be affected by it unless they overhaul the PvP system or just put something else in its place. And then unless the content changes, then Transcendence, I guess, wouldn't make too much of a difference. So if everything stays the same, they keep Extreme Co-op the same, Inheritance Zones exactly the same, there's nothing really that changes or needs your characters to be stronger, Transcendence is not going to be a big thing really. Just be nice to have some transcended characters, I suppose. So as I said, my 1000 Year Blood War Toshiro, he's 5 out of 5, so I'll probably focus on him. He's one of my favourite characters, my first 10-10-10 as well, so I'll probably just transcend him to max just to show off really and say I've got maxed out Toshiro in every aspect. But otherwise it's not really, I don't know, I still conflicted on it, but we'll see how it goes on there. But that's my thoughts. If you want to share any of your thoughts, and put anything in the comments as well. I guess anything that sort of comes to mind. There's a lot of split opinions on the whole thing, but I said my main concern is just all these 5% banners, the amount of characters that you can pull in a month, just by how many fillers and how many banners that come out. But I mean, again, we'll see how it goes. But leave any thoughts in the comments, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, well, thank you very much for listening. But I'll catch you guys soon. I'll probably summon at the end of the month, depending on what comes out. If it's Halloween characters, which people are sort of guessing, then I might pull a little bit for them. If it's another Can't Be Your Own World, that'd be quite a dirty move by K-Lab, but I haven't summoned since the last Can't Be Your Own World, so I might then spend some orbs on that as well. But we'll see what it is, but I'll certainly catch you guys soon. Thanks for listening.